And this is the Mercedes-Benz Rangers post-game show on an impromptu Columbus day for the road team. And a shout-out in the shootout. 2-1 the final, Rangers over the Columbus Blue Jackets in Ohio. Welcome inside our Delta MSG studios alongside Steve Valiquette. I'm John Giannone. We normally don't spotlight the skills competition that is the shootout in the NHL, but the goals by Vincent Trocheck and especially JT Miller against Jet Greaves, who played a heck of a game for Columbus, bear another look and a little bit more introspection.
Well, they do, because the 3-on-3 has lost its luster.
Tonight's did.
Yeah, well, there was only one shot on goal.
Yeah.
The Rangers had one shot. Columbus didn't have anything in the 3-on-3 overtime. But you get into the shootout, and it was a mix of some great saves from Shesterkin as well as some timely scoring from the Rangers shooters. And, you know, just getting into it, I think that Igor has a very high stance, and then he gets low, and that pushes a lot of the shooters to deke. Great glove save right there. And then when you see Trocheck come in, you're waiting for it, and he looks at his spot and hits it. And JT Miller really does the same thing. Marchenko's, that's a money move right there. Finding 5-hole there, soft hands. This was in and out with authority. And again, it's the same look that Trocheck had, came down the opposite side. And that was just in and out with, you know, that impressive look to it. It has a look to it that has a look of certainty to it. I thought that JT Miller, Lafreniere had a great night. I think Panarin had 6 shots on goal, Zibanejad 7. And then offensively, the D, too, were pretty impressive in this game, John, where you look at the Monday game, they had 4 shots from the D. Wednesday's game 6, and tonight 12. So they got a lot of offense from the blue line. Overall, I think the outcome of the game, though, it all hinged on how the Rangers protected the inner slot against a very good 5-on-5 team from Columbus, and they just didn't let them get active in there. And look, I'll tell you one thing, too. I reviewed the Edmonton-Columbus game Tuesday morning. It was a Monday night game. And one thing I noticed in that game was that Columbus, when they got to the slot, if they had access to it, they would pass off of rebounds. They would pass off of plays they should shoot. They're hard to play against at 5-on-5 because they're so creative offensively. But if you don't let them in, then you win the hockey game that way. And I thought that's where the Rangers really won the game. It wasn't offensively, obviously. It was how stout they were at protecting the house.
Yeah, 10-7-2 now for the Rangers overall. 9-1-1 on the road, continuing their best start in this centennial season in franchise history. The only goals in the game were scored in the second period, 10 minutes apart, and they were both scored on the power play. Cue up the Ranger goal here because Mika Zibanejad gets the goal. Adam Fox gets an assist, but it wasn't necessarily what he did with the puck passing it that deserved the assist. It was what he did to keep it inside his zone.
Yeah, he had 3 on that play, the power play, to keep it in. And Fox is so good at being able to just manage the puck, keep pucks alive. And what coaches often say is breathe life into the play rather than kill the play. And Adam Fox, this is just intuitive for him to just be able to keep pucks in that are bouncing. The ice is getting a little nasty near the end of the period. And, you know, the one thing that you can say about the goal itself, too, is after the Rangers go around the horn a few times, there's another keep-in from Fox. Great positioning, too. Is that Mika Zibanejad, when he gets the puck below the goal line, that's a third one right there for Fox. You know, that's not easy to do off the blade. But it's shooting for a rebound and then bringing it home yourself. And that's really next level offense from below the goal line. Is that not 4?
It is.
I thought we said 3 and we got 4. All right. This is the play here from Zibanejad, and it's a pass-off pad for a self-rebound. And I think that anybody playing the game right now needs to know that if you have time and space around you coming from below the goal line, making the first play off the goalie with the intentions of getting it back yourself, the goalie's going to be down 10 times out of 10 and then elevating it. Like, that's next level offense for me, watching Zibanejad pull that off. That's taking a low danger chance and turning it into a high danger chance.
And for the Rangers, a power play goal in a 3rd consecutive game, the only goal in 65 minutes of game action, but part of a 2-1 shootout win. We begin the reaction in Columbus. Our radio analyst Dave Starman working the room. He talked to the shootout scorer, JT Miller.
It looked like after that event, the team really got jacked up about it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, that's no slouch over there. That's one of the toughest guys, and obviously Sam's showing that he's right in that group of fighters. So not even that. Everybody played just a solid road game today. We took care of the puck. You know, it was kind of a greasy game. It wasn't really super exciting, I don't think, but finding a way to win on the road, against teams in your conference is huge. So, we're happy to keep going.
And greasy games being good defensive games. Talk about how well this team is playing defensively.
Yeah, it seems like when we do give something up, it's from, for the most part, not the big ones. Letting the goalies see half the net as much as we can. And, when our breakdowns, obviously, we got two hell of a goalie in Shesty and Quickie. So we have tons of confidence back there when we do, but we've done a good job of having a lot of layers and sticks in the middle of the rink. So we just got to keep doing that, and we got to get over it quickly and reset for tomorrow.
What was that part of the conversation coming out of Tampa, just kind of tightening up a little bit?
Listen, we're playing against, Nikita Kucherov and Pointer, and it's like they're going to get their looks, right? But I don't want to overthink it too much. There was a lot of transition against those guys. They created a lot. I thought tonight we played probably a more solid game tonight than we did in Tampa, but like I said, we're finding ways to win on the road.
Shootout.
And the win against the division opponent, as JT Miller said, important. Rangers had lost 4 of their first 5 against Metro opponents. You heard him talk about team defense and how stout it was tonight. 4 shots on goal in the first period, 11 in the second for Columbus, 8 in the third, and none in overtime. What stood out?
Well, Igor didn't have to make those loud saves. He had one backdoor save, a penalty shot save, but that was really it. It was quiet. And I think what stands out to me is just how the Rangers are able to stay up at their blue line because they're getting back pressure and nobody has a free pass into the slot. Again, the key against Columbus is not allowing them to the middle of the ice, but it oftentimes starts in the offensive zone. Rangers coming back again. You've got good sticks from the defensemen, and you can see there's 4 players around one Columbus offensive player trying to get a retrieval by himself. Doesn't really have a lot of support there. But the Rangers do. They're able to get out together. And again, you can stay tight and then have that offense where 5 can get it down the ice together when they're connected. So, look, a lot of even what JT Miller just said was, yeah, we allowed a few shots from the outside, but nobody was getting inside. And I think that this is a performance the Rangers can look back on and say, you know what? We're happy with the way we broke out of our zone. We're happy with our neutral zone. Everybody was tight. We were able to stay up. It's where offensive players are going to get their best offensive chances as long as they buy in, and they're buying in.
Something else the Rangers were happy about tonight was, speaking of a step up, Sam Carrick. What he did late in that second period. So the Rangers had taken the lead at the 5:42 mark. About 10 minutes later, the Blue Jackets tied the game also on a power play. In between that, Matthew Robertson was freight trained by Matthew Olivier.
Yep.
There came a time after the goal, it was only 37 seconds after the Blue Jackets tied it, that Sam Carrick decided it's time to go with Matthew Olivier. Now, we know fighting in this game is losing more and more of its time and place as the seasons go on. But I thought that was a fight that was very important for the Rangers to try to just calm things down and rediscover their mojo. And that's a heck of an opponent to take on in a fight.
Yeah, look, I think he's the toughest player in the league, Olivier. And so for Carrick to do that, that does not get lost on anybody on the team. They know that he's going in there and he's risking it all. And he was willing to do that because this game was hanging in the balance at this moment. And it's a swing moment, John. If Carrick gets beat up here, all the momentum goes to Columbus. Carrick gets really 2 pretty good shots in at Olivier. Olivier doesn't even go down, and he probably should. But again, he's the toughest guy in the league, arguably. Takes 2 right on the button from Carrick. Carrick hangs in there. There's 1, there's 2. And Olivier hangs in there, and it's more like a draw by the end of it, but I'll take the win if I'm Carrick, saying, like, hey, I hung in there with him. I got a few good ones. The bench tells it all. The boys know. Everybody had the furnace face. I always bring that up to you. I'm always looking for the furnace. I want to see a red face. And Lafreniere had the red face, and so did JT Miller and Fox. And you're going through the lineup, you're like, all right, these guys were all in for 2 points in Columbus.
And I noticed during my many years between the benches, there's always something different about when a fight happens in the last 5 minutes of a period because the player goes off the ice on his own bench to get to the dressing room, and the reaction is so much more visceral, so much more passionate, and that's what happened in this case as well. Speaking of Sam Carrick, here he is after the game again with Dave Starman.
All right, let's talk about the big moment in the game, and took a lot of guts and certainly created a buzz.
For sure, I think they were having a good push back there and trying to stir it up. And I know Olivier fought him a couple of times, and he's an honest player. I like his game a lot, and he's doing what he can to spark his team. And I think we've done a good job as a team here, sticking up for each other, and that's just part of what it takes to be a good team.
Did you sense that outside of the X's and O's, they were looking to do something that was going to change the momentum of the game?
For sure, yeah. I think there was, a few plays there that were maybe borderline penalties that, they're towing the line a little bit and, starting some scrums. And, that's part of the game. Teams are going to do that, especially at home. Try to get their crowd into it, try to create some energy in the building. So, it's something that we have to match anytime that happens and stick up for each other. And, so far we've done a great job of that.
How gratifying is it to win when you win a game like you did in Tampa and then win a different style of game like this one?
Yeah, they're all huge, yeah. I think we like where we're at, as far as being able to play different styles of games, whether it's, teams that want to play run and gun or teams that are, looking to just shut it down. So tonight was a good example. They're a good team over there. They're a, young team that's emerging and looking to, have a good year. And I think, it was a close game for the most part. And Igor was great for us when we needed him. And, our guys stepped up huge when we needed them, especially in the shootout.
Same when you're.
And the end result, a sixth time this season, the Rangers allow fewer than 2 goals in a game. They leave the ice happy in Columbus after a 2-1 shootout win.